Hello everyone, this is Kelly, Property Hunter Singapore. Welcome back to our channel, the best place for property investors and homeowners. All right, so we are back here today again to talk about the budget 2023 and how is it going to affect the market. So for the past few days, we've been receiving a lot of phone calls and SMSs from the people around us, our friends, some clients, asking, how is this budget 2023 going to affect them, especially those who are a little bit concerned about the increase in the buyer stamp duty, as well as those who are happy about the additional housing grant, and they were asking if they will be eligible and if if it's applicable for them. Okay, so this is what today's video is going to be about. All right, so if you have been going through the newspapers, the news portals the past few days, you'll be seeing a lot of headlines like that. It's all about the budget 2023, okay? Be it increase in the housing grant, or they're talking about the buyer stamp duty hike, or how the housing demand may switch to the resale market, and as well as higher value properties, how much the increase in the buyer stamp duty will be. Okay, so what exactly did changed in this budget 2023? So let's take a look. All right, so essentially there are two things that were implemented, okay, that will affect the property market. First is the increase in the buyer stamp duty rates, and second is increase in the housing grant. Okay, so the last time the buyer stamp duty rate was actually, this was back in 2016, whereby the residential property above $1 million was increased to 4%. Okay, however, this time around, the increase is not only just affecting the residential market, it's also affecting the non-residential properties as well. Okay, so the first one we're going to talk about is the increase in the stamp duty rates. All right, so increase in stamp duty rates are for both residential and non-residential properties of a higher value. Okay, and this will mainly affect the higher end properties. Okay, so for residential properties, let's take a look. Okay, so if you can take a look for the first 1.5 million, okay, you're actually not affected. But when you hit $2 million, for example, okay, the rates will actually increase from 4% to 5%. And if let's say your property is in above $3 million in price, the buyer stamp duty will now be 6%. So this is for residential property. Okay, and as for non-residential property, okay, the impact is also on higher end ones, for example, but in this case, the moment your price tag hits 1.5 million, there will be an increase to 4%. And then when it hits $2 million, okay, it will be increased by another 1% to 5%, and so on and so forth. So the thing about non-residential is that, regardless if you're buying a property for $3 million or $10 million or $15 million, okay, it will be a stamp duty rates of 5%. Whereas for residential above $3 million, that's actually increased, and now it's 6%. Okay, so some of you may ask me, what are non-residential properties? So this includes like commercial buildings, shop houses, your industrial factories, warehouses. So those are considered non-residential properties. Okay, so let's take a look at how much are we talking about exactly. So let's take a look at the property value of 2, 3, and 4 million. Okay, so for a $2 million property, the old stamp duty rate was 64,600. The new rate is 69,600. Okay, so we're looking at a difference of $5,000, and whereas for a 3 million property, there's a difference of $15,000, and for a $4 million property, the difference is $35,000. Okay, and so how much is the increase progressively? So I have another chart that I'm going to show you, just give me a while. All right, so if let's say you are buying a 1.5 million property, which is maybe 3-bedroom or 2 or 3-bedroom condo in the outskirts of Singapore, which is the OCR area of Singapore, it may be about 1.5 million. Okay, so for a lot of homeowners, or a lot of young families who are looking at buying their first properties in this kind of area, they will not be affected because there is zero increase in stamp duty. Okay, whereas but let's say you're buying a $2 million property, for example, there will be an increase of $5,000, and so on and so forth. So 2.5, 10,000, 3 million with would be 15,000, 3.5, 25,000, 4 million, 35,000, 4.5, 45,000, so on and so forth. So this is the increase you're looking at. So essentially, the higher the price tag, the higher the quantum of the property you buy, the higher the stamp you'll be paying. Okay. Let's also take a look at non-residential properties. So let's take a look at $2 and the $3 million. So if you take a look for a $2 million non-residential property, the increase is actually higher at $15,000 as compared to the residential one, which is only at 5. Okay, because previously the non-residential property, the stamp duty rates has always been 3%. So now it has been increased to 4 and 5%. Okay, so that's the reason why. So there is a jump of, say, almost like 2%, whereas for non-residential properties, not the ones below 3 mil, there's only an increase of 1%. Okay, so however, if you're looking at a 10 mil property, which is, you know, what the price for some shop houses out there, as you know, shop houses were very popular in this past few years, right? Because of the lack of additional buyer stamp duty and the fact that a lot of foreigners are eligible to buy. That's probably why the prices went up quite a fair bit, especially for shop houses. And my guess is also the reason why the government is increasing all these stamp duties for higher end non-residential properties as well. Okay, so if looking at a $10 million property, then the increase would be $175,000. Okay, for some of you, obviously going to say, wow, you know, that's a lot increase. But if you ask me from my point of view, honestly speaking, if I have the funds to buy a $10 million shop house, $175,000 increase is not going to deter me a lot. Okay, you know what I'm saying, right? If let's say you're talking about buying a 1 mil property, then I have to pay $50,000 more. Yes, that's a little bit painful. But if I have the funds to pay $10 million, $175,000, I think for them, it's not going to affect them much. All right. So how will it affect the market? So if you ask me, buyers buying residential properties below $2 million will not be affected. Even those who are buying $2 million, you know, the increase is just a small sum of $5,000, so it shouldn't affect them much. However, okay, with the increase in this buyer stamp duty rates, people are going to be mindful about the prices. So with this being said, we are looking at, you know, the stabilizing of market prices. As you know, the market, you know, price hasn't actually dropped at all for the past many years. Okay, so it was a matter of whether the growth is a very steep growth or slow growth. So, you know, it slowed down a little bit because of the latest cooling measure just last year. And then with this, and then recently it went up again. Okay, so with this, we are looking at stabilizing of market prices. Transaction volume, I don't think it will be impacted much. Okay, it shouldn't be, because like I said, it is not a very critical amount. I'm sure the government is doing this to actually increase the funds from the tax. It's going to generate quite a significant amount of income revenue for the government. So I don't think this is one huge cooling measure that's going to impact the market. All right. Okay. So now let's move on to the second part of the budget 2023, which is the increase in housing grants. Yay! You know, for those of you who are applicable. So who are eligible to actually receive this increase in housing grant? So we are looking at housing grants for first-timer families. So it's, let's say you are buying as a family nucleus. Okay, so husband and wife is a family nucleus, you know, mother and child is a family nucleus. Okay, so if you're a first-timer and you're buying a resale HDB flat, okay, it's resale, okay, so your grant will be increased. So basically, if you are buying a 2 to 4 bedroom, there will be increase of $30,000. So, you know, the amount of grant you will be receiving is about $80,000. Okay, whereas if let's say you're looking at a 5-room flat and above, you know, 5-room executive flat, for example, or maisonette, okay, there will be increase of $10,000 of grant, and so a total of $50,000. Okay, and whereas for singles, you know, some first-timer singles out there who may not want to buy a 2-bedder BTO, so majority of them, when they're looking at resale, they will be buying a resale flat. Okay, so for 2 to 4 bedroom, there's an increase of $15,000. That will make the total grant to $40,000, and then $5,000. If let's say you're looking $5,000 increase, let's say if you're looking at a 5-room, you know, flat or above, and that makes the total grant for singles for a bigger flat $25,000. Okay, so this is the chart just to show you, to make it a little bit simpler. So first-time families, you know, increase of $30,000. Okay, for 4 rooms or smaller. Okay, and then if it's 5 room bigger, it's $10,000 increase, and for singles, there's an increase of $15,000 and $5,000 respectively. All right, so Why? Why did the government come up with this? Number one, obviously there is a long wait for BTO flats. Yes, there is a lot of launch of BTO flats. There will be a lot upcoming of BTO launch, but it takes time for them to build. Okay, there was a lot of backlog since the COVID days, so I think they're still rushing all the flats out. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to encourage people to go for the resale flats instead of the BTO. And obviously, resale flats are a lot more expensive as compared to BTO flats, because BTO flats are heavily subsidized. So naturally, for a lot of first timers, especially young couples who just got married, buying a BTO makes more monetary sense. So because of that, the government has actually increased this grant, hoping to help them, to let them afford and build their own home soon. And the fact that they can go into resale HDB flats also means that you may have more young couples in mature estates as well. So instead of just the older generation, you may have all the young blood injecting into these estates, which is a very nice and good thing. Okay, and it's also a very welcome relief for families and singles who prefer to buy flats in the resale market. Okay, and of course, level the playing field for first timers, because honestly speaking, for a lot of first timers, they may not have as much funds as compared to a downgrader. For example, somebody who downgrades from a maisonette or executive flat to a 4 or 5 bedroom. Okay, or a condo downgrader. Okay, a condo downgrader, now they have to wait 15 months, but then again, they have the funds. Okay, or a retirees, who are actually downsizing. Okay, so these people, they have probably some cash or funds set aside for this, so they are able to pay a higher price or cash over valuation for those resale flats, whereas a lot of first timers may not be able to do so, because a lot of them are actually buying all these using their CPF. Okay, so one good reason why the government is also introducing all this relief is to help all these first timers get into those resale flats that they may want initially but may not be able to afford it. But now with the additional grant, hopefully it will help them in this sense. Okay, so we've come to the end of the sharing, so we hope it has been beneficial. If you do have any questions, do feel free to reach out to us. Oh, before we go, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more property news and updates. All right, this is Kelly, Property Hunter Singapore. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.